Hi, I'm Kurt, and this is my 1940 Mercury. I purchased this car a little over a year ago, and I got it running last summer after sittings for over 45 years. In my previous videos, I did most of my work outside in my gravel because I didn't have my garage done. So I've never had this car on my two-post hoist and off the ground to see the bottom of it. I did replace the brake system, and I had to replace ignition points. I had a valve that was stuck open at first. The whole interior has been gutted, and all the mouse have been evicted from the car because there's a lot of nests in there. And I want to put it up in the air and go over the entire vehicle just to show you what kind of condition this 85-year-old car is actually in. So to start, for Iowa, there's virtually no rust on this vehicle. We'll do a walk around it here. There's virtually no dents or dings throughout the entire body. There's a lot of scratches in the paint because the paint is not original. The hole is for the filler neck that is also in the trunk that needs to be put back on because I had to put a new gas tank in. But overall, there's no real dings or dents over most of the body. There is a small one right here that I've noticed. But overall, the body's in great straight condition. Walk around to the front. The one problem we do have is the hood release has been broken. Somebody lifted up on it too hard instead of pushing the button for the secondary release. But all of the chrome is got some minor surface rust to it, but all the grill pieces are in great condition, straight. There's a little dent in this one here, but all of this is in straight condition. Some rust scuffing in the bumper, and like I said, there's lots of scratches in the paint all over. As far as the glass goes, this window is the only one that's really cracked. Roll this one back up. This one has got separating around the edges. The rear windows also have the separating around the edges. A little bit back here on this one. This window's in pretty good shape. There's not really any separating or anything on that one. However, the vent window is pretty rough. Front windshields look pretty decent. Obviously, all of the rubber seals are dried up and shrinking, cracking. Interior wise, door panels definitely have some water damage and are 85 years old. The dash has some major sun damage where it shrank some of this plastic pieces up, and the glove box has a clock that does not work. There's a panel that was supposed to be here for a radio delete that was also all wrinkled up. This is the heating unit that it has underneath the dash with the heater core. There's two little doors and a foot lever. The window cranks for the rear as well as the ashtrays are not in the car, and I don't know if I have them. The headliners got some small tears in the corner there, some staining. There's also a small hole in the headliner there and a bigger one behind the sun visor. Door just sounds, closes amazing. Next up, I'm going to put this on the hoist and we're going to look underneath it, kind of go through the bottom of the car, and then we'll go underneath the hood and we'll show you the whole entire vehicle. So first of all, just listen to how good this thing starts. Yeah, even with the 6-volt battery system, this thing has cranked up and started no matter how cold it was over winter, because I had to move it in and out of the garage. And yeah, I'm really, really impressed with how easily this car actually starts in the cold. So I'm gonna get it up in the air and we'll go through it and see what's underneath it. I'm gonna walk around it just to be sure I got it set good. Not touching the running boards. I think she's safe. All right, let's lift it up, see what's underneath it. The whole bottom is covered in surface rust. And I'm gonna take you under and show you what it looks like. All right, well, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start in the back. Like I said, you can see the rust on the bumper here. But this is all solid metal with minor surface rusting. It's all solid steel. However, I did see this and I felt this. There is some filler on the bottom of this panel, but I don't believe it was because of rust. I think somebody had to fix some dents, because up in here, there's some kind of a rod of metal that, I'll come over here. You can see it sticking out a little better here. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get a better light to show you that. This metal bar is kind of going around the radius of the fender, and I think they put it in there to make it stronger. But as far as the metal goes, there's no filler on here. There's no holes on it. Get caught in the light there. This is all still solid metal as much as it's surface rust. There's no holes in anything. So I think this was probably dented in and damaged, as well as up in here, it was probably pushed in, and they reinforced it with that bar on the inside lip, because this side does not have it. This is just a rolled metal edge, and it doesn't have that at all. And I also thought I felt some filler back here somewhere, but something's going on. They got something right here. Yeah, there's something right here. You got the light. I don't know what's going on there. It doesn't look like it was rusted, but there definitely is some kind of filler here. And there's something stuck here. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. My guess is they did have some filler work done to reshape the bottom corner of this. My light. To reshape it in here. But this is all solid metal. Maybe there's a little filler there. I'm not sure. For an 85-year-old car, it's in awesome condition. The mud, or the rubber is cracking off of the running boards, and there is a small ding in this one here. But as far as rust goes, there's no holes in the floor. There's no rotten chunks in the frame. The frame is solid all the way through. The exhaust that's on it is a glass pack. I kind of had some parts laying around and I threw together over the axle pipe and a straight pipe out the back. Like I said, the gas tank's new, wheel cylinders, brake lines. The master cylinder is new. The wiring on the car is not great. There is some issues with the horn. I do remember I had to disconnect the horn because it was honking on its own. I think the wire inside the steering column is rubbing, so I cut the wire to that. Same thing on the front wheel cylinders, hoses. All of the shoes and the drums actually came off of this parts car that I purchased because I needed to replace this section of the exhaust pipe that comes up to here. And then there's an exhaust manifold on this side that was broken that I also had to replace. So in the front, all of this is all solid metal. I don't see any filler or anything in here at all. I'm pretty sure this is all solid. Yeah, this is good metal all the way through here. There's no anything done to it. The whole front panel here is all solid metal still. The nose panel, again, all solid. My grills, all the pieces of the grill are there. The headlight bezels do have some pitting on them. Front suspension, I mean, that's all in the steering gear. Tie rods are all super tight. The kingpins are tight. I truly believe that's why this car only has the 15,000 miles that it shows on the odometer. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm assuming it is, because it looks like factory suspension parts and it's all equally old and dirty. It even looks like factory shocks, to be honest. So, transmission does have some leaks on it, as well as the engine. There is a noise in first gear that I think I might run it on the hoist so I can hear that. But I don't think there's any kind of adjustments. I think it's inside the transmission. Yeah, this hose was replaced also. So overall, this car is in awesome condition. And I'm comparing it to this other 85-year-old car that I own. That this, don't know if I can do this one-handed. Huh. Nope, I needed to use my head with that one too, but I got it. So, this 85-year-old Ford has this entire panel completely rusted out. And it's all gone here. And this one's already been fixed once in its life too, because this is all filled with Bondo in here. And so it's rusted out after somebody's fixed it. The trunk floor has a huge hole in it here, which is pretty typical of all of them in Iowa. So to find this car in the middle of Iowa and in this condition at this age truly is amazing. All right, with that, I think the next thing to show you is probably under the hood. So this is going to be the noise that it's making in first gear. I'm guessing it's going to do it on the hoist. Oh, duh. I got to turn the key on. Fires right up. Okay, well, I'll have to show you the noise when I drive, because when you're driving, it makes a clicking noise. It's not really doing it on the hoist here. And as you can see, we've got some moisture on the back of the generator getting thrown on the hose here, and the water pump pulley on this side is leaking. So that started happening over winter. This was the exhaust manifold that I had to replace with this section of pipe. The battery is still currently not held down. You can see the rust holes underneath the battery tray there. Get a little better angle on it here. Yeah, the battery hold down is pretty rusted out. The battery that was in here had a big crack in it, and all the acid leaked onto the tray and rotted it out, as well as the strap that goes across the top is missing. Should throw some kind of a strap over it. I currently don't have one in there because I had it on with just a ratchet strap. I took the battery out of this at one point to put on my other 1940 over here to see if I could get this to run before I tore the engine out. And I just never put the strap back on. I just set the battery in. Should get that bolted in. However, the fuel system. So I bought a brand new mechanical fuel pump, and it lasted for about 10 miles before it left me stranded, and I couldn't get the car to run. Hold the light over here a little more. So what I did was I went into town with the trailer. I took an electric pump that was 12 volts and used it to pump gas into the carburetor, loaded the car into a trailer, knowing that my fuel pump was my problem. I went ahead and I ordered a 6-volt pump and wired it in directly to the carburetor. This isn't probably the best place for it because it does make a lot of noise. I feel like I might mount this towards the back by the gas tank and then rerun it through that fuel pump and just push through that pump so it looks more original. But I hooked it up this way as kind of a get me running again. What else do I know about this car? Well, you can see the original color versus the paint that's on here. You can see all the runs here. So it's definitely had a paint job. But it really is in amazing condition for its age. Oh, the throttle linkage was a problem also. So I have this wire kind of wrapped around here to a spring on the firewall in the back. This lever is supposed to be spring loaded, and the spring on there broke. So that's something else that needs to be addressed, or just, I mean, it works like it is, but it kind of doesn't look the best. That's just about everything I know about the car and that I can see. The radiator, oh, I forgot. This side of the radiator, the strap could be resoldered on there. It's a little loose. It's not leaking in the radiator anywhere that I know of, but I did notice that this strap is coming off the radiator. So I would say it's pretty close. Oh, we can go in the trunk. All right. There is a crack in this taillight. Small crack in the glass there. Trunk on this one opens much easier and is spring loaded versus the lever action on the Ford. But this is the filler neck. I currently have to figure out how to get this hose to connect back to the gas tank. So, and it was filled with some rust inside, but I definitely got to clean it out. This is actually a strap I used when it broke down on me one time. But you can see the back of the seat. It's all pretty clean back here. There's no holes in the floor anywhere. Spare tire well. It's totally solid. I mean it. So all your seals are pretty dried up and old. Yeah, it's a really cool car. So I hope it's picking it up. But that's the clicking noise in first gear. pop out of gear if you rev it that high. I always shift into second before it ever does that, and then it sounds great. So first gear does have a problem. I'm not sure if it's in the gearing or what it is. Yeah, it's hard to hold the camera and shift and drive with the stick. But cruising at 25 miles an hour in second gear, drop it into third, she just putzes right along. And I'm not sure if the battery gauge works or if the generator has issues. I never have to charge the battery in this, and it's started every time. So I think the generator's working, but the gauge shows that it's low sometimes. I found wrong with this 1940 Mercury. It's in great shape for an 85-year-old car.